Hi, you guys. Welcome back to Audrey's reading area. Yes, Alexa, what time is it?
It's 5 p.m.
Stop. All right, all right, all right. Thank you guys for joining me here at Audrey's reading area. Yes, it's 5 p.m. and it's time for me to read to you guys because you know I'm Audrey. You know I'm Audrey. All right, now, today is Educational Tuesday. Educational Tuesday. So I got a fun and exciting book, which is also educational. Also educational. So let me make sure I have this thing on do not disturb because everybody calls around this time. All right, all right, all right, you guys. So now the fun and exciting book that I have to read to you guys that's also educational. Can you guess? Can you guess? See my little bus? Yes, yes, yes. The Magic School Bus. The Magic School Bus explores the senses. You guys know we have 5 senses. Can you name the 5 senses that we have? Seeing, smelling, tasting, touching. One more. One more. Hearing. That's right, you guys, hearing. So the Magic School Bus explores the senses. Now, there's a lot going on in this book. You guys know how the Magic School Bus is. There's a lot going on. So I'm not going to read some of the little things on the outside of it. I'm going to read some of them, but not all. Now, I did not read this book in advance. So, like I don't do most of my books, I don't read them in advance. I just read them while I'm reading to you. The Magic School Bus. So on the back, written by the New York Times, it says, "This is the freshest, most amusing approach to science for children." And I always loved the Magic School Bus from back in the days when I was younger. Okay. It's a scholastic book too. The Magic School Bus explores the senses. This book was written by Joanna Cole and Bruce Deegan. Joanna Cole and Bruce Deegan. Here's the first picture in here. Let me show you guys the pictures, because the illustrations are really, really, really wonderful. It's by written by Joanna Cole, illustrated by Bruce Deegan. For David Hashmal, whose friendly wisdom and guidance always made perfect sense. You guys know Mrs. Frizzle is the name of the teacher. So, first page, it reads, "Our class was studying the senses, how people and animals know what's going on around them. We were doing experiments and writing reports. We were even learning a song about the senses to sing at an important parent-teacher meeting. The day before the meeting, we practiced our song 20 times. So over here it says, without our senses, we'd be out of it. If someone, by Carlos, if someone could not see, hear, feel, taste, or smell, that person would not be able to tell anything about the outside world." And that's true. Their song goes, I don't know the tune, but it says, "Hear a school bell ring, see a bright light shine, touch a cat's soft fur, you'll be just in time to come to your senses." It wouldn't have been easier if we had an ordinary teacher. Maybe it would have been. Who knows? But we don't. We have Miss Frizzle. 5th grade teacher. My 5th grade teacher was Miss Grizzle. Frizzle, Grizzle, rhyme. Yeah. She was one of the best teachers. Rest her soul. May she rest in peace. Miss Grizzle. Looking at her dress made us forget the time. Her shoes made us forget the words. And her wacky personality made us forget almost everything else. Every Animal Needs Senses by Arnold. Without senses, an animal could not find food or escape from danger. That is the truth. When the school day was over, we went outside to warm up for a game. After a while, Miss Frizzle came out and got in her car. At the same moment, Mr. Wild, our new assistant principal, called to us. "See you at the meeting tonight." "Tonight?" we groaned. "Miss Frizzle thinks it's tomorrow." "I have to tell her," said Mr. Wild. But it was too late. The Frizz was already driving away. So on the sides, it's a lot going on. I told you on these pages. I'll just keep reading because there's a lot. "I've got to catch up with Miss Frizzle," said Mr. Wilde. To our surprise, he got behind the wheel of our bus. Believe us, we've had a lot of experience with that bus. We couldn't let Mr. Wilde drive it, not all by himself. After all, he's only an assistant principal. He's not Miss Frizzle. We all jumped on board. That sounds interesting. Uh-oh. As Miss Frizzle went faster, some papers blew out of her car. There they were, her teacher's notes about the census. They came flying in the windows of our bus, and we saved them for her. Mr. Wilde drove carefully out of the parking lot. We were only a few cars behind the Fritz. We would catch up to her in no time. Then Mr. Wilde saw a little green switch on the dashboard. "Green means go," he muttered to himself, reaching for the switch. "Don't touch it," we warned. "Don't touch it." But it was too late. Mr. Wilde flipped the switch. He had never been in a school bus like this one before, but we had plenty of times. We knew that something impossible was going to happen, and it did. The bus began to shrink, get smaller. Whoa. And he's saying, "All I did was touch one little switch." Little is right. Wow. Now they're little. The bus shrank until it was no bigger than a speck of dust. A stiff breeze started up and blew us into the air. Ahead, we saw a big blue circle. In the middle of the circle was a black dot. It was a giant eye. A giant eye. The eye belonged to a police officer, and we blew right into it. Uh-oh. "Oops, I have something in my eye," he said. Uh-oh. So it has little facts. It says your iris, in your eye, is all muscle by Gregory. The colored part of your eye is the iris, and it's a ring of muscle. Isn't that interesting? Interesting fact. But your pupil is nothing at all. The dark spot in the middle of your iris is actually an opening into your eye, the pupil. Your pupil is protected by a tough, clear layer called the cornea. Cornea. There you go. Check that out. Before the officer could blink us out, Mr. Wilde saw a rainbow-colored lever. "Leave the lever alone," we yelled, but he couldn't resist. He pulled the lever, and the bus slid smoothly through the cornea. Uh-oh. The clear covering that protects the iris and the pupil. Beyond the cornea, we passed through a sea of clear liquid, past the blue iris, and through the pupil. "Who knew driving a bus was so much fun?" asked Mr. Wilde. If you want, you can pause this and you can read these little things on the side, little facts to your little babies. Mr. Wilde was going wild. "I should have been a school bus driver instead of an assistant principal," he exclaimed, as we slipped through the clear lens of the eye. We weren't the only ones going through. Rays of light went through also. The lens focused the light to make a sharp picture on the retina. The retina is a layer of cells on the back of the eye. "Let's go to the retina," said Mr. Wilde, gunning up the engine. There was no stopping him now. The teacher's notes said the retina is made up of special cells called rods and cones. These cells change the light that falls on them. The pattern of the light becomes a pattern of nerve signals going to the brain. "It's like translating one language into another," said Tim. "The rods and cones translate light language into nerve language." Yeah. Mr. Wilde had forgotten all about delivering his message to the Frizz. All he cared about was driving the bus. All we cared about was finding Miss Frizzle. Keisha flipped through the teacher's notes, trying to figure out where we were. Look, here's a map of the retina," she said. The spot in the center of the retina is the fovea. That's the part of the eye we use when we look directly at something. This is why your foveas look sharp by Shirley. The fovea is covered with cone cells, only cone cells. They are good for seeing sharply. So again, I'm going to put this book up here. You can pause and read it if you like. These little facts on the side. Some interesting facts. Let me let you see that too. It says, what's the other round spot on the retina, we asked? It's called the blind spot, answered Keisha. Everyone is blind in that little spot of the eye. It's where all the nerves in the eyes come together. They form a bundle called the optic nerve, which runs from the eye to the brain. A smile spread over Mr. Wilde's face, and he steered the bus into the optic nerve. We rolled out onto the surface of the brain. It's called the cerebral cortex. We have to keep track of the Fritz, said Ralphie. Look for the part of the cortex that gets messages from the eyes. Everyone scrambled off the bus and spread out. Wanda called from the back of the brain. Here it is! We ran to join Wanda on the vision center of the brain. Somehow we saw what Officer Jones saw. That's interesting, huh? Interesting. Where is your vision center? Put your hand on the back of your head, just above your neck. Your hand will be right over the vision center. Fizzle fact. You can't see with your eyes alone. You need your brain too. Wow. There was Miss Frizzle in a dress shop, buying a dress with optical illusions on it. We called for help, but of course she couldn't hear us. She didn't know that Mr. Wilde was driving the bus. She didn't know that her class was in a brain. She didn't know that everything was totally out of control, and we couldn't tell her. Sometimes your brain makes mistakes, my Wanda. Fool your brain with these optical illusions. Okay, you can freeze and read. Freeze it and read it. Pause and read. Again, this is the Magic School Bus. Explores the senses. Then we felt something rumbling. Officer Jones was on his motorcycle riding away. We had to stay close to the frizz. We jumped on the bus and Mr. Wilde swerved back into the path of nerves that led to the eye. Our bus teetered on the edge of the eyelid, then dropped through the eyelashes. When we looked down, we saw an ear. What sense comes from the ear, you guys? That's right, hearing. We have to get out of here. We have to get closer to the frizz. We have to get accident insurance. Look, Mon, no hands. This driver's having a ball on this bus. We were falling into the air of a little kid who was looking into a toy store window. We went straight into his ear canal. Whoosh! We slid all the way down. Here we come. I think you mean ear we come. That's the joke. Ear we come. Time to leave, Richie. Coming, Mom. Can you wiggle your auricles? Some people can move their outer ears. Their ears. Let me see. Just a little bit. Can I move mine? A little bit. So can many animals. Animals that have large auricles use them as collectors to funnel sounds into the air. All right. At the end of the ear canal, we hit a thin, stretchy membrane called the eardrum. We came tumbling out of the bus. Just as some sound waves entered the air, they made the eardrum vibrate. We vibrated right along through the eardrum and into the middle of the air. So did our bus. Uh-oh. Frizzle warning. Take care of your drums. Never put anything in your ear, especially not a busload of children. There was nothing in the middle ear except air and 3 ossicles, small bones that carry sound vibrations. Sound waves traveled from one bone to the next. We went too, and the bus rolled behind us. So we get a little closer, and you can look at the little things that it says, and you can pause it and read it. It says, "Name that bone," by Molly. "Your 3 ossicles are called the anvil, the hammer, and the stirrup. They have these names because they look a bit like these objects." Can you read? See that? All right. "Unclimbing giant bones," that's the bus driver, the assistant principal. He says, "These ossicles seem big to us, but they are actually the smallest bones in the human body." Did you guys know that? We're actually the smallest human bodies in these bones. They're having a ball. Then we came to another stretchy membrane. This one was called the oval window. The last ossicle, the stirrup, was resting right on top of it. Dorothy Ann read from Miss Frizzle's notes. "Children, the oval window separates the middle ear from the inner ear." "Inner ear, here we come," shouted Wanda as we went through. We were going to the inner ear, whether we liked it or not. So far, all the parts of the ear had only one job: to carry vibrations. The inner ear, we saw the part that receives vibrations, the cochlea. We swam through the liquid inside the cochlea. We saw cells that looked like tiny hairs. Miss Frizzle's note said, "Hair cells are sound receptors. They translate sound vibrations into nerve signals." As soon as we were on the bus again, Mr. Wilde followed the nerve signals along the auditory nerve. Wow. Interesting. You see that picture? Yes. It says, "Frizzle warning, very loud noises can damage the hair cells in your inner ears." Interesting. I hope you guys are enjoying the story so far. The Magic School Bus explores the senses. And you guys know there are 5 senses. 5. This time we went to a different part of the cortex, the hearing center for the ear we were in. As soon as we were standing on it, we could somehow hear what the little kid heard. It was Miss Frizzle reading from her things to do list. She was nearby. Maybe there was still hope. Maybe the Frizz could rescue us. Then we heard heels clicking on the sidewalk. They were Miss Frizzle's heels. She was walking away. Oh no! We had to follow her, so we ran for the bus. We sped over the brain, into the auditory nerve, through the ear, and out the ear canal. Then we started falling. Uh-oh. This time, there was no soft ear to catch us. We saw the hard sidewalk rushing up at us. Then just before our bus crashed, something amazing happened. A friendly dog, smelling her way along Main Street, snuffed us up. He was sniffing, snuffed him up. At first, we were happy because we were safe. Then the full impact of our situation hit us. We were inside a dog's nose. This is a nightmare. It's slimy too. We'll never find Miss Frizzle now. Wisdom from the Frizdom. Never say never. Can you guys see? She said, "My students have a nose for adventure." He said, "Not me." So funny. So now dogs get a lot of information just by their smell. In the dog's nose, we saw tunnels of bone, all coated with smell receptors. Miss Frizzle's notes said, when the dog breathes, molecules come in with the air. They stick to the smell cells in the nose. Then the cells send messages to the smell areas in the dog's brain. How interesting is that? Wow. It says, how many smells cells by Phil? A human has 5 million smell cells in the nose. Does that seem like a lot? Not compared to a dog. A dog has 200 million. Interesting fact. Mr. Wilde drove to one of the smell areas. Then we could smell what the dog smelled. It was easy to tell when we were close to the pizza restaurant. They smelled that pizza, huh? Wow. Again, you can pause it when I put the book up and you want to read the little facts around it. You can just hit pause. Let's go out and have some pizza, said Mr. Wilde. For once, we all approved of his plan. He drove out of the brain and back to the nose. Just then, the dog sneezed. Shoo! Uh-oh. And the bus flew out. Through the windows, we saw the Fritz sitting at a table. Splash down. We landed right in her water glass. Uh-oh. Look, it's the Fritz. She's eating pizza with her mom. So what's that M stand for? So imagine the dog sneezes and it sneezed right into her water glass. Gross. The bus got a good washing. It needed one. Then a waiter accidentally knocked over the glass. Thank goodness she would have drank the dog's sneeze. We were tossed onto Miss Frizzle's pizza. Oh, no. Mr. Wilde tried to get away, but the pizza had extra cheese. While we were spinning our wheels, the Frisk decided to take a bite. She's like, I wish my class could be here. They must be great kids. Yes, they are, and they love pizza too. They landed on Miss Fritz's pizza, Miss Frizzle's pizza. Uh-oh, she looks hungry. Eek! Eek! She's eating them. Oh my goodness, OMG. Wow, here we go, here we go. We'd been chewed out by teachers before, but this was ridiculous. We had to escape fast. Mr. Wilde gunned the engine and the bus lurched out of the cheese and onto Miss Frizzle's tongue. It was covered with bumps. Between the bumps were deep gaps. Looking down into one, we saw food molecules being washed into the taste buds by saliva. Then a wave of it swept us down too. Now, what sense are we in now? What sense? We're in the mouth, on the tongue. So that's the tasting sense, right? We could have hidden out of the gap until Miss Frizzle finished chewing. But that must have seemed too boring to Mr. Wilde. He had school bus fever. He hung a sharp left onto one of the taste buds. The taste cells inside the bud were changing the tastes into nerve messages. Wow. Vroom, vroom. This will give us a taste of excitement. I prefer the taste of chocolate myself. This kid is worried. Look at him. This bus driver is about to go crazy in there. Look at all of this excitement in this book. Straight facts. Facts. Look at that. Interesting. Interesting. Let's move on and see where they're going to go. Before we knew it, we were traveling on a pathway of nerves to a taste area of Miss Frizzle's brain. We climbed off the bus and stood on her taste cortex. Now we could taste what our teacher tasted. Whoa, it's our brain. It's our fourth visit to a brain. This time it's Miss Frizzle's brain. Uh-oh, this could be our most dangerous trip yet. And they have, How Many Flavors Can You Taste by Ralphie. Our taste cells can detect only 4 tastes. Can you guess what it is? Only 4 tastes. Bitter, sour, salty, and sweet. 4 tastes. Over 10,000 different flavors. How is this possible? Scientists say all the flavors we taste are mixtures of the 4 basic tastes, combined with the many different smells from food. So frizzle fact, you can't taste with your mouth alone. You need your brain too. Oh yeah. All these different facts given to us in this book. I love science. What about you guys? We ended up on the part of the brain that gets touch messages from the hand. Oh, we moved to another sense. We moved from taste now to touch. From taste to touch. Let me see. It says, once we were standing on it, we could somehow feel what Miss Frizzle felt. When she felt something hot or cold or hard or soft, we did too. How weird is that, right? Brr, she's touching something cold. Now I feel something warm. Do you feel something soft? Wow. Let's see where this nerve goes, said Mr. Wild. Back on the bus, we zoomed along the nerve pathways, leading away from Miss Frizzle's brain. At the end of the nerves were the receptor cells in her skin. Here you guys go. Fun facts. Fun facts. Don't forget, if you want to read it, just pause it. Pause it. I just want you to see all the fun facts here. I love this picture. It says, look at all the weird receptor cells in here. These are the pores. This is your skin and the layers of your skin, in case you guys didn't know. This is your top of your skin. These are your pores, the opening in your skin where the sweat comes out. Receptor for vibration. Receptor for heat, itching, and pain. Receptor for change in shape and extreme cold. Enlargement of a section of skin. Hair follicle receptors, so you know the hair goes inside your skin. It looks like that. Receptor for deep pressure. Sweat gland, see? Sweat gland, that's where your sweat goes out. And a receptor for light touch. Take a look. It's interesting. All right. Here's our exit, said Mr. Wild, driving out through a pore in the skin. Up ahead, we saw the Fritz petting her mom's nice soft ear. Wow. I'm going to read it again. Here's our exit, said Mr. Wild, driving out through a pore in the skin. Up ahead, we saw the Frizz, petting her mom's nice soft cat. Mr. Wild drove so fast that the bus flew right off Miss Frizzle's hand and into the cat's inner ear. Not another ear. What a catastrophe. Catastrophe. Oh. This is inside the human ear. Can you guys see? Ears aren't just for hearing. They keep you upright too. Ears are also for balancing. We passed the snail-shaped cochlea used for hearing. Then we came to some hollow tubes. They're used for balancing. We hung on for dear life as we felt the cat jump. Next, we heard the rumble of a car engine. Seat belts, everyone, yelled Miss Frizzle, and we went off. Oh, boy. Uh-oh. More facts. All right. A word from Dorothy Ann. Semicircular means shaped like a half a circle. All right. When the Frizz made a sudden swerve, we were catapulted out of the ear. We landed on the road behind Miss Frizzle's car. As the bus grew to its regular size again, Mr. Wild beeped the horn and Miss Frizzle pulled over. It's Mr. Wild in my class. What a coincidence. I can't wait to meet them. Because it grew. Look, the bus grew. It grew back to normal shape, normal size. We told her about the meeting, and in no time, we were all on our way back to school. So I told you there's a lot going on in these pages. I love it. I love it. We got there just in time to sing our song and check out the refreshment table. Then, what a surprise, Miss Frizzle got an award. If anyone deserves an award, it's the Frizz. She's the most sense, get it? Sense, we're doing senses. She's the most sensational teacher in school. Says we can taste and we can smell. We can balance very well. We like to see and hear and touch. We like our senses very much. Some more facts. I'm proud of my child. I'm proud of mine too. Look to Miss Frizzle for most field trips. Where will she take us next? That's the big question. Here is the page. All right. Where will she take us next? So we have the Song of What's Wrong. What's wrong with this book? There's a lot. Take a look. If you study this song, you will know what is wrong. No matter what you think, a bus cannot shrink. It can't tore a brain by bus, car, or train. So they're letting you know that the things in this book are fictitious, meaning they were just fun and imaginary. They were not real. So it's just trying to let you know that in this part of the book. It ought to be clear they can't enter an ear and don't even try to drive through an eye. It says, could they go in a nose? Not even if they chose. Miss Frizzle's skin is no place to go in. Children cannot hide among a taste buds on the teacher's tongue. The ear of a cat, oh, never, not that. And even if kids could stand on a brain, they'd stand all in vain. Let us explain. Oh, you mustn't expect that their feet could detect whatever sensations were going around in the brain of a teacher, a cop, or a hound. In this whole nutty book, is there anything true? Yes, the science is real. So let's shout, wahoo! Yes. Here are all the pictures of fun and exciting pictures. Yes. There you guys. I enjoyed this book. It says, let us hear from you. Keep in touch. It's been sweet. I see you. Who knows when they'll come again. I love it. I love it. The end. It's about the 5 senses. There are 5 of them. Don't forget. Wow. Thank you guys for joining me here at Audrey's Reading Area. You guys can see I have so much fun reading these books to you guys. Well, haven't been feeling well these past couple of days, but I made it here just for you. I'm going to be here just for you guys. Anyway, thank you for joining me here at Audrey's Reading Area. I'm always live. L-I-V-E. Always live at 5 on the weekdays. So please go on over to YouTube and go to Audrey's Reading Area. And that little button at the bottom that says subscribe, just click it or touch it. Click it and subscribe. It's totally free. You don't have to pay for that. It's free. So you have no reason not to, because I know you enjoy hearing me read these fun and exciting books to you and your kids. Thank you for all of your support. Once again, I will see you again tomorrow. Be live at 5. See you soon.